good, everybody? MidMorningSol here, back at it again. And y'all, I am, compared to the preceding episode, I am much more energized this time around. So hopefully, y'all won't be hearing me so quiet, among other things. So, folks, it is yet another episode of Piofiore Faded Memories playthrough. Y'all, I am excited. I want to know what's going on. Was good, Dante? Why'd you lie to us? For those that need a recap, not really because it was the last episode, but hey, I'm already in this mindset of doing it, so I might as well, right? So, last episode, chapter 2, Lily's been, trying to make the best of her stay at the Falzone Manor. At first, she had dinner with Nicola because she was distraught over Sister Sophia's supposed death. She wouldn't eat, and she basically was like a shell of herself. So what they needed to do was to get her to interact more with people and jumpstart her wanting to eat. So they figure, why not have good company? And I use that loosely, quote unquote, good company. Why not have good company, and that'll make the meal more enjoyable. So Nicola did it first. He did it behind Dante's back, supposedly. But then Leo pushed the narrative of, let's, my gosh. Let's lift up Lily's spirits because, yeah, she did lose someone very close to her. So it progressed from Nicola having dinner with her to Nicola, Leo, and Dante having dinner with her. And also, Leo was getting her gifts to try to cheer her up. Got her some books, some other stuff. But the main thing is, they got her a kitten named Carlo. It was really adorable, y'all. I was here for it. And in hopes the kitten would be Lily's company, they're like, okay, yeah, here, have this kitten. So the long and the short of it, y'all, one day Lily went to Dante's office out of the blue, and she kind of caught them at a vulnerable moment. And then Sister Sophia, she found out was actually alive. So then Lily was pondering, well, why did Dante lie to me? I'm happy that Sister Sophia is alive, but why did Dante do that? Why did he lie to me? And so right before the chapter ended, Dante came by her room and he wanted to apologize to her formally. Ciao, when I say formally, he got her a bouquet of roses. Oh my goodness. We're already trying to be wooed. But yeah, that was that part. Dante, Nicola, Falzones, basically, they're also doing some extermination from a little rat problem spilling from Veleno. So one instance, they capped somebody who was trying to, a Lao Shu member rather, who tried to sell a boy some caramella. From Yang's episode, we know that caramella is the recreational drug. So that shit's mowing people down left and right, and people are dying due to a frenzied addiction. So yeah, y'all, that's pretty much where we are. We are starting chapter 3, so let's get to it, shall we? Ambivalenza. Okay. I stood in front of Dante's office, took a deep breath, and knocked on the door. I hope everything went well, Dante. I brought you a cafe latte and a baba. Baba, a cake steeped with rum-flavored syrup. Okay. I'm not really too much into rum. I mean, if the occasion calls for it, sure. But yeah, the Jamaican in me is disappointed, right?
No. それはここに
As Dante pointed to his desk, his phone rang.
誰からだ? そうか.
Well, I'll be going. I hurriedly placed the dolce on his desk and tried to leave as quietly as possible. But, what? Dante was still on the phone, but he gestured something to me. Is he telling me to stay? Ciao. As I wondered what he was trying to relay, he spoke into the phone again.
いいだろう。つなげ。
Could this be connected with the church? Is it really alright for me to be here? The call connected, and Dante spoke in his usual calm tone of voice.
あまり余計な真似をするな、パリス。下手な賭博からは足を洗うんだな。
What the hell? What is it with... Well, no. We know Dante, he doesn't really care too much for gambling. If I can recall correctly from Nicola's route, he was like, oh, men of honor don't gamble. And then we had the mysterious dude, who I think it's Chicken Scratch Face Man. Chicken Scratch Face Man was telling us also to stay away from the casino, so gambling's a really bad vice. I wonder why. I don't know, I haven't really been on my history, so if y'all could enlighten me, that'd be cool.
お前がファルツォーネのやり方を信じられないと言うならそれでもいい。だが、その時は、お前との縁もこれで終わりだということを肝に銘じておけ。
Interesting.
なあ、それでいい。引き続き頼む。
Dante coldly and abruptly ended the call. He then raised his face to look at me.
待たせた。
You don't have to worry about that, sweetheart. I just wanted to serve you the dolce and drink. Oh, not at all. I'm fine. Was there something you needed from me? You don't have to be shy. Tell me. Dante sipped the warm cafe latte on his desk, and after a brief pause, spoke.
わざわざお前が運んできたのは、ジュリアの指示か。
That's probably it, but what a twist if it would be, well, no, I wanted to give it to you myself. I don't know. Yeah. Yes. Everyone in the kitchen was busy, so I was the only one who could come.
メイドのような真似をさせてすまない。
It's okay, dude. I don't mind. Not at all. I've been under everyone else's care, so I'm pleased to be able to help. I'm sorry for disturbing you. I'll be careful next time.
このババはお前が作ったのか?
Does it taste ultra good? Yes. Though I did learn the recipe from Julia. Dante reached for the fork to take a bite. He chewed slowly as if to savor it. Damn, she's good. Damn, she's good. Huh? I waited, unsure of what he wanted from me. He took another sip of his cafe latte.
お前の作るドルチェはうまいな。
You know, I learned from the best. I really had not much to do with it. Nah, kidding. I'm the best. I'm the bomb. That Dolce should make you melt in your fucking shoes. My heart tightened, seeing his sweet smile and gentle words of praise. Oh, you already feeding for him, girl. He is cute, so I don't blame you. Really? I stuttered a bit with my reply, and Dante chuckled.
Grazie.
I don't know how to say you're welcome in Italian, but whatever. Oh, it was my pleasure. Girl, you work for Chick-fil-A or something? I couldn't believe how flustered I was from our casual conversation. Damn, Lily already got feelings for this dude. Child. Stuttering and stammering like that. I cleared the dishes and utensils from Dante's desk and exited his office. He caught me off guard when he praised me, but why? You know you was a good cook, so you's a good baker or whatever. I forgot the proper term for that. But if you good at it, you should expect the praise. Come on now, girl. I'm glad he liked it. The next day, I visited the kitchen around the time Julia's chores were about settled. Julia, about the baba we served yesterday. I meant to report back to her, but she was so busy that I decided to wait until today. Dante said it was delicious. I just wanted you to know that. Julia smiled at my sudden report in obvious excitement.
それはよかった。あのババはとてもいい出来でしたからね。
Leo told me before that Dante likes sweets, but I didn't know exactly how much. And then Dante just had the entire thing. Well, what the fuck? Is it like one of those cute little individual cakes? That's what I would assume.
甘いものがお好きなのもあるでしょうけど、多分坊ちゃんはそれだけではなく。
He's also what? It sounds pretty busy outside. Is it coming from the entrance?
でしたら、熱いコーヒーを用意しましょう。今日はよく冷えますから。
As Julia prepared the coffee, she turned to ask me a favor.
もしよければ、何人戻ってきたか、サロンの様子を見てきてくれますか？
I'd be happy to. I quickly headed out to the salon. Huh? Where is everyone? Usually when they returned, they took a break in the salon, but there was no one around. Something wasn't right. I tilted my head a bit as I returned to the kitchen. Say, Julia, I went to the salon, but no one was there. Oh, right, I just noticed the music cut off. Where did everyone go?
誰もいない。あ、そうですか。
What?
では、帰ってきてまたすぐに出かけたのかもしれませんね。急ぎの用があったんでしょう。
Everyone must be really busy. It felt a bit odd, but I nodded in agreement. I noticed Julia smiling at me gently.
あなたも部屋に戻ってはどうです？今は特にお手伝いをお願いすることもありませんし。
All right. Come to think of it, Leo might be anxious if he sees I'm not in my room. Do let me know if anything happens, Julia. I'll help with preparations when everyone returns.
ありがとうございます。
Such a sweet girl, that Lily. As I left the kitchen, I waved to Julia, who saw me off with a smile. Looks like Carlo's fast asleep. Maybe I'll read a book while I still can. I picked out a book from the batch that Leo brought to me, then settled into a chair. Look at me, casually reading a book while listening to music in this room. I'm also wandering the manor freely and making sweets with Julia. I could tell my disposition changed, as it has with all these other routes. Maybe I've grown accustomed to living here with the Falzone family. In fact, I can tell that I'm enjoying the comfort of my days here. I hardly had any time to myself back at the church when I looked after the children. Not that I didn't like working from morning to night, but if I will eventually return to my normal life, then I might as well enjoy my time here with the Falzone while I can. Life here was something of the old me could only dream of. And it was a life that would fade away in time. Maybe I should enjoy my time here to the fullest. Yeah, I agree, you should. But I still want to see Elena and the rest. I wonder if they're doing alright. Ah! I'm coming. Someone knocked on the door. I opened it to find an unexpected guest. Who? Who this?
Yeah.
Oh.
ちょっとお邪魔するよ。
Okay. Nicola, I didn't know you were here. He lives here. Or I don't know. Let's see. He didn't respond to that, and instead spoke to me abruptly. Uh-oh.
少しだけ君の時間をもらっていいかな。
Define borrow. Sure, I'm available. Never mind. Lily's so cool. She'll just say yes to anything.
じゃあ、僕についてきて。
Okay. Not knowing what he wanted, I left the room and followed Nicola. I don't like this. Nicola quietly walked down the hall. Something didn't feel right. He wasn't speaking like he usually did. Nicola? Is there something the matter? Uh-oh. Wait, this would be the same time, right? Because in his... Let's be quiet. Nicola stopped and turned toward me.
君に見せておきたいものがあるんだ。
Okay. Show me something. Before I could ask him what that was, he turned back around and started walking again. Something definitely isn't right. What does he want to show me? Despite a strong feeling of dread, I continued to follow him to find out. Uh-oh. Cells? I didn't know they had these in the basement of the manor. Okay. Something was telling me that I really shouldn't be here. Girl, I'm telling you, you shouldn't be here. Please don't let it be like Nicola's route.
話せば楽になるってまだわからないか。
ほら起きろ。気絶するならすっきり吐いてからにするんだな。
Deep in the cell quarters, I could hear the Falzone family interrogating someone. He silently bid me to look inside the cell. I slowly peeked inside from the stairs. Oh no, they got Faye? Faye's the boy, right? Yeah, Len's the girl. Oh my gosh. Oh no. Well, let's see how he acts. Did I not read that? I'm sorry, y'all. I saw the Falzone family glaring at a young boy bound and held on both sides. In front of him was a large barrel filled to the brim with water. Oh wow, they're gonna do the water torture or waterboarding. I don't know what the heck it's called, but it ain't good. I think it's waterboarding. I'm not savvy on torture techniques, so forgive me, y'all. Is that Dante? Dante was standing with his back on the wall, looking at the boy from a distance.
無駄だよ。僕はこんなことで口を割らないから。それにしてもファルツォーネのカポはお綺麗な顔して案外陰湿だったんだね。
The young boy calmly spoke to Dante with a sneer. Despite his bravado, the face was pale from being repeatedly dunked into the water.
フェイと言ったか。ヤンの子飼いの部下ならそれくらい知っているだろう。これはマフィアとマフィアの抗争だ。良識はいらない。暴力だけが意味を生む。
I've never heard Dante's voice so cold and unsettling like this before.
ラオ州は表の人間を巻き込んだ。越えてはならない線を越えたんだ。
Oh no.
越えてはならない。だって、僕そんな線見たことないよ。
Instead of answering the young boy, Dante continued speaking.
ラオ州は飴の袋詰めに偽装して町の人間に薬を売っているな。
Wow, okay, so yeah. The name that they masqueraded the drug with. It sounds like a candy. So in Yang's route, when that dude flipped out, that Valeno dude flipped out at Lily, it does sound like a candy, Caramella. Wow, they really are disguising the drugs as candy. Woo. But we also know that Yang didn't really have a hand in it. Well, no, he did, but like, I mean, he wasn't pushing the real potent stuff. The red peony. That's what was getting folks like turned up and turned out. But Yang was responsible for the Caramella distribution. So,
カラメンラなどと呼んでいるようだが、あれは人間の体を破壊する猛毒だ。
ああ、あんなのより本物の飴玉の方がずっと美味しいのにね。
ラオ州の構成員が薬を使おうと売ろうとベレーノでは好きにしろ。だがファルチェでの勝手は許さない。
Yeah, they done got too comfortable, y'all.
マフィアとしての約定を破ったラオ州は何をされても文句を言う資格はない。
Dante stared at the young Fae with a cold and intimidating look on his face.
やれ。
Do what?
は。
あげろ。
Oh my gosh, Faye.
無駄な真似。ご苦労様だよ。殺されるまで喋らないよ。僕は。
Your route. I mean, not your route, but like we just got out of the Yang's route, man. The little kid has heart. I give him that.
このガキまだ余裕があるらしいな。
Kodogaki. Ooh, what the heck? They hit him? Oh, I couldn't believe what was happening. What was happening? I could tell I was losing consciousness from the dankness and the smell of blood in the air. I couldn't keep myself standing any longer. Well, Nicola, why would you bring me down here? That's stupid. I don't know the kid. Why would you bring Lily down there? With perfect timing, there was a momentary silence. There was a momentary silence as everyone stopped speaking. The sound of my heels resonated through the cells.
誰だ
Please calm down. It's me. Nicola propped me up by the arms and casually led me out in front of everyone. Nicola, why would you do this?
邪魔してごめんね。みんな、僕だよ。
ニコラとジョーちゃんも。
I don't think he's happy to see me down here. I'm not happy to be here either.
彼女と一緒に猫を探していたんだ。まったくいたずらっ子で困っちゃうよね。
What the fuck? He was in my room. You liar.
こっちに来たと思ったんだけど、なんて見ていない？
What is Nicola's problem? The damn cat is in my room.
いや、
地下じゃなかったか。じゃあ、他の場所を探してみることにするよ。
Nicola, you shady as fuck. Nicola! Nicola spoke as if everything was normal. He then pulled me in by the shoulders and turned to go back up the stairs. I wanted to leave this place quickly, but I couldn't get my legs to move. Dante nodded his head, to which his men immediately reacted.
はい。
They probably gonna kill the kid. Oh. Alright, she didn't gasp, but whatever. I did.
リリー、どうしたの？
Nicola, what's the matter with you? Why you lied? Nicola tilted his head and spoke my name. Seeing that I was unable to walk, well, she's also looking at a 15-year-old about to die, so yeah, it's like a train wreck or a car wreck, whatever. You just can't look away. I stood there, frozen in place. Why is there a choice here, y'all? Damn it. I'm actually gonna vouch for Faye. He's a kid. I wanted to stop what was happening. Dante, please stop. Oh, Lord. He's still a child, isn't he? I could tell he was a member of the Lao Shu and that he did something terribly wrong. Even then, I couldn't turn a blind eye to the violence in front of me. Okay, so y'all may be wondering, Mid-Morning, what? Didn't you want them to torture that one guy in Nicola's route? Now you're all soft. Well, listen here. Yes, because Faye, he's a child. He's still a child. 15 is still a child. And also, not so much in Yang's route, but in other routes where we did meet, I think Orlok's route, he was pretty tolerable. I don't want to see him hurt or killed. I done seen him killed enough already. I don't need to see him killed again. Please, please don't do such terrible things to him. I know I had no right to say it, but I wanted them to stop this torture. Though I mustered every ounce of courage to speak, I can hear my voice shaking. Oh God, he's not gonna listen to you. Dante stared at me with his cold eyes, then spoke in an even colder tone. No! Please don't hate me.
部外者のお前には関係ないことだ。
Well, tell Nicola that his dumbass brought me down here. Dante. Jazz like moot. His eyes narrowed, hearing me speak his name. For a moment, he seemed to hesitate, but his response was no different.
リリー、仕事の邪魔だ。
That might have been bad. He listened to what I said before, but I don't have the right to get involved with the Falzone family. I'm an outsider to them. The reality that was... Let me read that again. The reality that I wasn't a part of their family struck me hard, to the point where I couldn't say anything else.
頃合いか。あげろ。
He been underwater that long? Oh, shit. That kid's got some lungs on him, I'll give him that.
どうだ？何か話す気になったか？
何度言えばわかるのか。
The young boy looked at me. Oh, Faye. No. Oh, Faye, don't be like that. His face twisted as he began to chuckle.
それが鍵の乙女。
What the hell? He knows her purpose? Oh, because they're working with Bishop Roseberg. Yeah. Huh?
鍵のなんだって？
なぜお前がその言葉を知っている？
Dante's eyes focused on the young boy upon hearing those words. His eyes weren't cold, his eyes weren't just cold. They also showed hints of a murderous rage. Oh no! Did I seal Faye's fate? Oh my gosh.
それはお前ごときが口にしていい言葉じゃない。
Please don't kill him. Please don't kill this child.
迂闊な発言は自分の寿命を縮めるだけだ。それとも今すぐ死にたいか？
Wait! What is this key maiden? They're not gonna answer you right now. Dante didn't answer my question, but squinted and silently waved me away. He's like, shoot, get out, shoot. What was that? Was he referring to me? Bitch, you the only girl up in that cell. What did you think? Oh my God, Lily. Sometimes you could be hella dumb.
もういいよね。行こう、リリー。
Nicola. Damn your soul. Wait, Nicola. I'm not... Nicola gripped my shoulder firmly and pulled me sharply toward him. He led me out of the dank and cold underground cell. With Nicola's help, I somehow made it back to the salon.
さあ、カフェラテだよ。まだ暑いから気をつけて。
Lily, I hope you're gonna call him out on this bullshit. Like, why did you lie? I didn't want to go down there. Nicola handed the cup to me, but I couldn't bring myself to take a sip. What I just saw back there in that cell shook me.
突然のことだから驚いたかな。
Bitch,
ご
why
めん
you
ね。
brought me there? Was that what you wanted to show me? Why? Why did you?
君に知っておいてほしかったから。
Oh yeah, I forgot. That is a thing of Nicola. He did not want to leave me in the dark. Yes, he did say that in his own route, and he didn't agree with how Dante handled things. That I do remember, y'all. Oops.
君にどれだけ優しく接していたとしても、僕たちはマフィアなんだって。
Okay, yeah. As soon as he said that, I was reminded real quick, y'all.
君とは生きる世界が違うんだってことを忘れないでほしかった。
Damn it. I know that. Shit. Oh god, my stomach's going off like crazy. I hope y'all didn't hear that. I couldn't say anything in response. It was true that I was starting to forget they were out. It was true that I was starting to forget who they were outside of the manor. I was just beginning to think that they weren't as scary as they seemed. But it was far from reality. They would resort to anything to obtain their goals, even violence. Mafia. Fear. Those words began to resonate with me again. I was simply being treated well because I was in their custody. What they were at their core was far more sinister than I could ever expected.
でも、さすがに拷問の様子を見せるなんていくらなんでもやりすぎだよね。ごめん。
Maybe you went too far. I think you went. You could go further, but I'm glad that it wasn't like parts missing and stuff, parts being chopped off, like in your route.
ダンテだって誰に対してもあんなに冷酷ってわけじゃないんだよ。さっきのは敵対している組織の人間だからダンテも容赦しなかっただけ。
The image surfaced again in my mind. The image of the young boy being tortured by the family's men. The image of Dante coldly and ruthlessly giving orders. I looked down to my cup to see my cup shaking, my hands. Nicola gently cradled my hands ever so lightly, but he had his turn. Now it's Dante's turn, so get your hands off me, you creep.
大丈夫だよ。僕はあんなことしない。
I don't care.
ゆっくりでいいからそれを飲んで。君が落ち着いたら部屋まで送るよ。
Well, to be honest, no, he chops ears and rips fingernails off. Like the waterboarding is mild compared to that. So Nicola, I don't know what you're talking about. I nodded in silence at Nicola's sweet and gentle voice. Don't you push that on me, boy. You had your chance. As soon as I returned to my room, I crumpled into a heap on the bed. I guess I didn't know how things really were all along. All I could do was watch that brutal violence play out in front of me. I saw the dark side of the Falzone family, which I was starting to think didn't exist. Yeah, it's good that he brought you back to reality, but I don't agree with how he did it. Or maybe I was simply turning a blind eye to what was happening around me. Even so, what options did I have? No answers came to mind. I need to step out for a moment. I slowly stood up and exited the room to get a breath of fresh air. Carlo! It seemed like Carlo was playing out in the garden. He perked up and dashed toward me. Ah, she bonded with the kitty. That's so cute. I picked Carlo up in my arms and stroked his soft back while trying to gather my thoughts. I slowly inhaled and exhaled in an effort to calm myself. I was at the church that night by coincidence when Dante took custody of me. Or at least that's what I thought. But was my abduction really... Was my abduction a coincidence at all? When Dante came to my room with roses to apologize.
これ以上のことは言えない。今はまだ。
I believe that's what he said. He said that there was more, so that means he must be holding something back. Something wasn't right. He said that he came to save me when he received a call from Sister Sophia. But why would a boss himself come down to rescue a normal civilian? Well, I get her train of thought, but you're not normal. You're far from it. If anything, he would have sent his men to handle the situation in his stead. Or maybe there was something about me. Yes. The young boy in the cell called me the Key Maiden, right? If there was something special about me, it would explain Dante's odd behavior. But there isn't anything special about me at all. Ooh, child. You gonna learn, no worries.
地下に捕らえてあるネズミ、しぶといね。全然喋る気配がないよ。いっそのこと、もう少し口が軽そうなのを捕まえてこようかと思っているんだけど。
お前に任せる。
了解。情報が引き出せたらどうする？
古いネズミも新しいネズミも用済みだ。始末しろ。死体くらいはヤンに返してやれ。
取引には使えない？
Yang don't care. Well, I don't know. Yang would be the type to be like, oh, well, I don't have any use for him. You can kill him.
あいつは簡単に部下を切り捨てる。
Exactly.
ちゃんと交渉するのは現実的じゃない。だいたいネズミを一匹捕らえておくだけでも見張り役に人手が必要になる。もし抜け出されでもしたら屋敷内に多少の被害も出るだろう。それにそもそもの約定を破ったのはラオ州だろう。取引とは対等な相手と行うものだ。
なるほどね。よくわかった。そうそう、ファルチェのネズミ狩りは順調に進んでいるよ。ほとんどの売人を一掃できたって言ってもいいんじゃないかな。僕からの報告は以上。
I prepared to leave when a stern, angry voice struck me from behind.
どういうつもりだ、ニコラ。
Huh? I turned around slowly and smiled.
やだな、何の話？
なぜ地下牢にリリーを連れてきた？
Okay. Come on, I'm glad Dante questioned him. If not Lily, then Dante. Like, dude, what's your angle? Why you brought that girl down there?
言ったよね、偶然だって。二人でカルロを探していたんだよ。
Stop lying, boy.
もういいかな。じゃあおやすみ、なんて。あんまり夜更かししないようにね。